April 11, 1970, NASA launched Apollo 13, the third mission meant to land humans on the moon. It was supposed to be routine. After all, Apollo 11 and Apollo 12 had already succeeded, but this mission would become the most dangerous journey in human spaceflight history, because just 2 days later, an explosion would change everything, and 3 astronauts would face the terrifying possibility of never returning to Earth. Apollo 13 carried 3 astronauts: Commander Jim Lovell, Command Module Pilot Jack Swigert, Lunar Module Pilot Fred Hayes. Jim Lovell was a veteran astronaut. This was his 4th spaceflight. He was finally about to walk on the moon, but fate had other plans. April 13, 1970, 2 days after launch, the crew was nearly 200,000 miles from Earth. Then, a loud bang. The spacecraft shook violently. Oxygen tank number 2 exploded. This damaged the spacecraft severely. The astronauts quickly realized they were losing oxygen, and without oxygen, they would die. Then came the famous words, "Houston, we've had a problem." The moon landing was immediately cancelled. Apollo 13 was now a rescue mission. The astronauts moved into the lunar module. They used it as a lifeboat. But there was another problem. The lunar module was designed for 2 astronauts. Now 3 men had to survive inside, and power was running out. Carbon dioxide levels began to rise. If they couldn't remove CO2, the astronauts would suffocate. But there was a problem. The filters didn't fit. NASA engineers had to improvise. Using cardboard, plastic bags, and tape, they built a new filter. And somehow, it worked. The spacecraft swung around the moon. Apollo 13 was now heading back to Earth. But one final challenge remained: re-entry. If calculations were wrong, they would burn up in Earth's atmosphere, or bounce off into space forever. The world watched, and waited. April 17, 1970, Apollo 13 safely splashed down in the Pacific Ocean. Against all odds, they survived. The mission failed, but the crew returned home. And Apollo 13 became known as NASA's successful failure. Apollo 13 never landed on the moon. But it showed something even greater: human ingenuity, teamwork, and the determination to survive. Because sometimes, the greatest success is simply making it home.